guys, what's going on? All right, let me get this all set up here. got caught off guard. Let me just check, make sure the sound's good. Yep, looks good. All right, so happy Tuesday, the 10th of June already. I can't believe the month is flying by so fast, or the year for that matter. Things are buzzing right along. Trying to get jobs finished up and stuff, and just doesn't seem like we can get caught up very good. But keep pushing forward. Got a couple, basically, I got a bunch of job updates and stuff like that. You can see what's going on there, and let me just push this over here. Sorry, I'm still getting organized. Anyway, yeah, trying to get a couple things straightened out here. Working on Leo's 4200, working on the oiling system on that. We'll go over that. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Finished up the Pontiac Super Duty comp eliminator motor. Got the console done for Scott's Oleynik. So tomorrow I'm going up and going to try to do a full day thrash. All the wiring harnesses you guys have seen in previous shows, we've got that all done. And we're going to try to put it all together and hopefully get it fired up tomorrow. But at least with the fuel system and everything else, get that all done and get as close as we can with that. And worked on Finn's 69 Corvette, trying to get the valve train straightened out on that. Kind of briefed over that a couple times over the last couple shows. I came in for some EFI tuning and kept popping and back through the throttle body. Hey Rick, how you doing? Yeah, so ended up being some overly tight valves on that, so we're going to go over that. I was hoping to do a valve adjustment instruction type deal on that, but I wasn't able to get that far. There's still have a few issues I got to straighten out before we can finish that up. So that's pretty much the jobs that we're finishing up here. So one thing I forgot to talk about last week was I have the NASCAR Cup Car on Race Junk for sale. I don't have the road racing rear end and transmission installed in it yet. I have it all ready to go. Shop's been busy and I just haven't had a lift open to get that stuff done. But it's a matter of 1 or 2 days. Get a good track alignment set up on it. Get weights and everything moved around from the Darlington event when I made it turn left. Now I got to make it readjust the suspension to go back to left and right. But I got a text, and somebody gets on and they say right away, what are you asking for the car? And I tell them, and without seeing the car, asking any questions or anything, they said, give me your address and I'm going to go ahead and send you a check for the car, which right away that kind of raised a flag. But you know what? I don't know. There's somebody out there. I mean, it's a good price, I feel, that I got the car at. And so it's very possible the guy's like, hey, that's a good price. I'm just going to get it, or whatever. And there was a couple odd texts back and forth. Made it get a little bit more sketchy. Then they dropped the rip-off message on it saying, oh yeah, so we're gonna send you more, a couple dollars more, and when the tow truck comes to get, or the transporter comes to get the car, you can write them a check and they can pay that. And my accountant only wants to write one check instead of multiple checks, and blah blah blah. And right away I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a scam. But they couldn't get the car, so I mean, I play the game. So they wanted an address, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to send you a check." I'm like, "Well, first of all, I'm only taking a check for the car and the money I want for it, not a dime. I'm not paying anybody anything out of that check. I'll cash the check. When the check is cleared, you can come and get the car. I'll put it out in the driveway, and you can come and get it. And I don't care how you arrange that or whatever. I don't care. But I'm not paying anybody. You're paying me." And he's like, yeah, no problem at all. We'll go ahead and do that. That's no problem. So give me your address, and I will go ahead and send you a check. And that was, sorry about that. That was really weird, but I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll play along. So I did get a check. I got an envelope. They sent the money. It says that it came from California, the return address. And open up the package, and hey, there's the check. How about that? But if you look real closely here, that's the amount that I was asking for the car. But look on the line there. That's nowhere near the amount that the check is made to on pay to the order. And when I was talking to the girls at the bank, they're like, "Well, the written out part is what we cash and put in the bank and do all that kind of things. The stuff in the little box on the right hand side is just a verification." So, obviously it was some type of scam. They spent some money sending a check and doing all that stuff. The guy again texts me and says, "Oh, I see tracking. You got the check. Go ahead and cash it and let me know when it clears, and we'll do this transaction." It was crazy. I text him, "LOL, what kind of fool do you think I am?" And he's like, "What?" And I, sent pictures of the check. I'm like, "I don't know who your accountant is, but I've never seen an accountant not know how to write a check. So, I don't know what kind of games you guys are playing, but you can just stop wasting my time." And of course they were like, "No, we'll get the accountant to send you another check." Well, nothing's come since then, and I'm block their numbers and stuff like that. But just one of those things, when you got stuff on the internet for sale, all the jerks come out of the woodwork. Same thing putting stuff on Marketplace. You get all kinds of people wanting to haggle the price without even coming to look at what you're selling or anything like that. It's some kind of scam or scheme or something. Another one that I've seen going around, they tell you that they're going to send you a Google account number, and then you can go ahead and give. And once you receive the account number, you give it to them, and that just gives it access to a private messaging. It's like bull. It's not how it works. But they're all out there. You just gotta you gotta be really do your diligence and not get caught up in that crap. So the car's still for sale, but we'll get that thing done. I'll be out of town next week, and so when we get back in town in the next few weeks, I hope to get the car in, get that all dialed in, and then hopefully take it to a chin event or something like that. I've talked to a couple of those guys, and even though I don't have a road race license, they're gonna let me run the car, so that way I can verify that the car is a road course setup car, and especially at Sebring, because we know what kind of times the good drivers run. So if the car does anywhere near that, that shows everything's working the way it's supposed to. So that's the update on that whole deal. So my thing to everybody is, if you got something for sale, do due diligence. Don't like I did with that check. I gave them my buddy's mailing address for a business. I wasn't going to give him my home address, nothing like that. Put as many blockades as you can, so that you can find out whether they're a for real transaction or a fake one. So with that, I guess we should go to let's go to the Oleynik. I'll show you that. So obviously there's Scott's Oleynik. That's an old picture. I don't have any current pictures with the front end on, but that was before it was painted. Although we took the front end off because it needs to be painted again. But let me switch screens here again. So I got the so here's the console, pretty much all done. We got new cup holders. That was a new addition that Scott brought over. I'm like, that's a really good idea, because there's no cup holders in these older vehicles, and especially when it was a stick shift, it was a lot of fun trying to have a you know, your favorite 32 or 64 ounce gas station beverage between your legs while you're clutching and shifting the vehicle and trying to steer and everything else. So the cup holders are going to work real nice. They seem pretty stout, and I checked them with a couple different big cups, and they do work. So that's going to work out nice. And the other thing was, we wanted to put a USB kit in. So here's a little video with it finally done. Alright, so the shifter console is ready to install in the truck tomorrow. Got it all boxed up. Got some convenient cup holders there. We got our USB charging station with voltmeter. We have our LEDs, check engine, overheat, tow haul, no overdrive, tow haul, no overdrive, high rear end, low rear end. It's all ready to go. Yeah, so that's all fixed up, cables all mounted, all the wiring is done inside the box, the ECUs are mounted. I thought I got pictures of the ECUs and stuff inside, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, so we're ready to install that stuff tomorrow, so I'll definitely be getting some video once I'm up there tomorrow where the truck's at. You know, the engine's completely assembled now. We've got the radiator core support in, the throttle body and all that stuff is on, injectors, all that stuff. We have all the accessories are mounted on the front, including the AC compressor now. I got the fuel tanks hooked together, and got the rest of the fuel system to plumb in. So go ahead and finish that up tomorrow. Put the wiring. The trans is already wired. I got to lay out the engine wiring harness, and then obviously mount the console. The ECUs are mounted in that. Put that in. So it'll be a full day's work. If I can get lucky and we don't get any rain, hopefully I can maybe get the truck far enough to where it'll be ready to light off. But we'll see. Just trying to get that thing wrapped up. So that should be about where we're at with that thing. Once I get it running, it's going to go to the body shop to get the front end repaired, and the A-pillar on the passenger side of the cab, it's got a pretty good rotted spot there. So then they're going to put that stuff on and repaint the cab, and then we'll get it back from them, and we'll just finish everything up. So we'll see how that all works out, but we're getting really close with that, so that's really good. Let's see here. Guess we can do let's do the Pontiac. So you know, if you guys watched the shows last week, you remember we got the engine assembled and stuff. So here's so there it is, Pontiac Super Duty final Here's the final. So this engine is it's an aftermarket KRP block, Kansas Racing Products, but it's a GM licensed Pontiac Super Duty engine that they ran in sprint cars and quite a few different comp eliminator classes. We took the motor apart to do a connecting rod update swap. You know, the rods in these motors, they usually service them about every 25 runs, and so went ahead and did that. But at the same time, we didn't have any engine assembly notes or any measurements or anything to go by. So basically, I did a forensic disassembly and reassembly. So now we have a complete blueprint measurements of all the bearing clearances, ring clearances, valve timing on the camshaft, verified that the camshaft is what the cam card said it was, and you know, all that's all wrapped up and done now, and so it's ready to go back. So here's a little video on that. So there it is, Pontiac Super Duty 4-cylinder comp eliminator race motor. It's all together. Wasn't able to show you the cam timing procedure because that's all kind of top secret class racing stuff. But anyway, it's all done, ready for my buddy to come and pick it up and freshen up next time it needs it. Excuse me. Yeah, so you know, it's got all the normal big race engine stuff. It's got the big Jessel 1-inch lifters in it with the keys on the front. On this front pulley here, you can see on the front cam sprocket, it's got a little pulley on there. That's for a belt drive distributor. You can see the cam plug, or the distributor plug, is blocked off on the engine. All those things that come in the castings that for OEM, they aren't used on the race engine. And one of the cool things about these KRP blocks is that they machine them or cast them with no cylinder head bolts in them, and then you can put whatever cylinder head you want. So this gets like an SB2 NASCAR cylinder head on it, and pretty cool little motor. I think it's 190 cubic inches and probably makes really close to 400 horsepower. So really cool little motor, and glad to have it all back together, and they can put their cylinder head back on, and this will be the backup engine. It'll be ready to go. So really happy about that. Came out great. Everything came out good. So I think we're going to be in real good shape with that. And maybe next time Mike takes the car out, I try to get a video on the car racing. I know I have some old videos, but I don't have anything current out of that. But we'll see what happens there. So yes, that was good. Got that thing wrapped up. We're slowly getting some of these projects straightened up, and keep moving along. So the next thing that we worked on this week is the Leo's 4200. So, you know, obviously at Atlas 6-cylinder, for anybody new that's on the show tonight, we've been working diligently trying to get this thing back on the track. We've been in the 8.0s and the quarter mile with it, and we're trying to get into the 7s. Some of our companion 4200 guys, like Calvin Nelson, he's getting pretty close in ET with us, so we definitely want to get back on this thing and try to get it deep in the 7s, so buy us a little bit of gap to keep us as the world's fastest 4200. So but we've been having issues with the thing, and then we're trying to iron them out. So let me there's the car. So it's a steel roof and quarter, trunk lid, doors, steel car. It's the only thing that's fiberglass on it is the front cap. and it's no lightweight, but it is a tube chassis car, and I think it's around 2,600 pounds with Billy Lee driving it. We need to do some aerodynamics on the front, but we've been chasing engine stuff so much that we haven't had a chance to really do anything with that. Currently, the front end is tilt, so that kind of impedes any kind of front air dam on the front of it, but I'm going to work on that once we get the engine back ironed out, because I think once we start getting any faster, I think we've been 186 with the car, but I think once we get closer to 200, I have a feeling that it's going to really start getting light in the front end, and I don't want that. I don't want to have give Billy any heart attacks driving the car or anything like that, or any reason to lift. So we'll get some work done on that. So this is the video on when we first. All right, so we're trying to figure out the oiling issue with the 4200 cylinder head. So what I'm going to do for this test is I got the valve train all in. I got my AccuSump full of 3 quarts of oil. I have 55 pounds of oil pressure on it, and I'm going to use this blowgun with a rubber tip to shoot the oil into the oil galley and see how the lubrication is. My thought is that this cap is going to have less oil coming in than the rest of them, but we'll see how that works out. Okay, test number 1. Have oil here, we have some oil there, some oil here, we got a little bit out here, some here, but not a lot coming out of this cap here. Well, that wasn't very conclusive, so probably going to have to do some checking on the clearances here and see where we're at. Okay, so that was just the original oil test that we did, and you can see here the oil did get in there. But being that the lifters are solid and they don't have an oiling hole, the oil is coming out of the cam towers and getting carried or spinning around by the camshaft as the oil is working out the sides. Not very a lot of oil coming out that way, although haven't seen any cam wear, but we've definitely had valve guide issues. So we're definitely working on that, trying to figure out what we're going to do for that situation. So we thought about drilling the lifters, trying to get them out, but I'm afraid that they're hardened because they are black oxide. So I couldn't get anybody at Jessel to call me back with any information on that. So thought about it and said, why don't we do a valve spring oiler like they do in NASCAR and endurance racing engines. So the first thing to do was I had to get a drawing of the oiling system. So here's that. So obviously you got your engine block, the oil goes through the main galley across here. It's going to get really grainy, but here's your main oil galley that feeds all your connecting rod mains, which then feed the connecting rods. You have an oiling passage here in the front by the timing cover, but that goes up here to the VVT. It doesn't lube anything at all. And then between cylinder 1 and 2, where I thought the valve spring, there was a casting log there, and I thought the valve spring was actually hanging on that. That is what oils this trough that goes all the way around the cylinder head, and that feeds all your hydraulic lifters and your cam towers. Now, again, this engine's got Jessel solid tappets, so they aren't doing any oiling, and they're not spraying oil out the hole in the rocker or follower and onto the camshaft and stuff. So there's a good reason why we have an oiling issue. Talking with Leo, he said that at one point in the engine's build over these years, self-race engine did switch to these Jessel tappets, and he wasn't really sure when that happened, but he said it was relatively recent, even though it could have been 3 years ago or whatever, but maybe one engine freshen or two freshens up since then. Hey John, how you doing? Glad you made it tonight. Switch here. So that's the oil routing. So we know that passageway is where the oil is going through, and they put a restrictor in there. It's a 90 thousandths restrictor. So let's go ahead and show you the next couple little videos I made of where we're heading with this thing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try our experiment on this 4200 cylinder head. This is Leo's cylinder head. You can tell that this is not a production head because there's no cooling passages away around the combustion chamber, so they try to make it basically a dry deck block. You have oil drain backs on these passages out here, and there's some water passages back here in the very back that flow the water back and forth. But we've been dealing with oil on this thing. So there's two oiling passages on the from the block to the cylinder head. This one right here, which you can see it goes down in, that is for your VVT. There's a VVT solenoid up here, and that's what that feeds. Then this one feeds the oiling system, all the lifters and the cams and stuff. Now, it already has a restrictor in there with a 90 thousandths hole, so that we don't pump too much oil up into the top end. We aren't running hydraulic lifters, so we don't have to worry about the lifters being pumped up. They're solid. So all it needs is lubrication. However, we've been having this issue with valve stems going dry and sticking to valves. So this is what we're going to go ahead and do. Now, one thing I will note, the valves are open. That's because there is camshafts in here right now. So let me flip this head over and I'll show you what we're going to try. So looking at the oiling diagram, I found that this little freeze plug here is an oil passage. So the idea is to pop this plug out, make an adapter that goes into that piece with an O-ring, and then to run oil squirters down the sides of the cylinder head. So these stainless lines are where we're going to drill our oiling holes, and that's going to spray oil directly on the springs. And what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole like we did here. What we're going to do is drill a hole in the tube like this, one over every valve spring, and we'll feed the oil from that galley plug here into a T, and then all the way down along all the rockers. Now, I didn't get the components finish this yet today, so we'll have to go ahead and work on it for next week or the week after, but this is the plan. Alright, so after several attempts we were able to get it out of there, and you can see there's the oil passageway. So now my idea is to make a bushing with an O-ring that goes in there to a T, and then the T will hold it down in there, and that'll oil the system. So now we just got to wait for the extra parts, the stainless T compression, and all the special drill bits to drill the stainless line, and we'll see what we can do with it. I'll let you guys know an update when we get it all situated. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now. I've got stainless clamps coming to hold the line. I was going to weld some tabs on, but I kind of was worried about vibration and maybe the lines cracking, so I decided to go with a stainless Adele style clamp that surrounds the tube. And I've got some high speed industrial 040 drill bits. Got a package of them coming because I'm gonna probably end up snapping a couple. But so each passageway will be spraying directly on top of the valve spring retainer area. And so, as I was saying in that little video, I'm going to make a piece of tubing with an O-ring that fits tight into the bore, and then tap it with a 1/8 inch NPT, and that's what the stainless T-fitting from Fragola is coming from Race Parts Solutions. So that'll screw into there, and it'll be AN tube and nuts into the T, and then clamp it down. Now the other thing is I've got another engine here. I need to get the valve cover off of it so I can see where we're going to place the line so it clears the valve cover. One thought is to clamp it on the bolt that holds the cam tower down, and if that doesn't work, we would go in and drill and tap the here I can show you here. So my other idea was to use these bars here and clamp the line here, or use these bolts here and do it there. I kind of would like up higher, because then it's going to have more area to fling the oil around. But either one should work. But these webs look like they should be substantial enough to do a 1032 screw to hold that. And then of course we got these two bosses here if we need to make it stiffer to hold that O-ring into that front piece in here into the casting. But I think that's going to work out well. We have a dry sump on the engine, so we have plenty of oil volume and pressure. We can adjust the pressure wherever we want it. But I think if we can get some oil spraying on the springs, and that will aid in oil to the guides, that'll eliminate our valve issue. And we've already got the other things that we've been working on. We had a bad turbo, and then we got a new replacement turbo, which was a ball bearing unit, and for whatever reason that didn't last very long, and it kind of seized up. It would turn, but you had to really put some force into it. And when we sent the turbo back, it's a Garrett, it's a name brand unit. They were saying that there was a problem with the used exhaust housing that we used, that it deformed a piece of the cartridge, which then put extra load on the bearing. I don't know, but they sold us a new setup, and we had a new exhaust housing. I machined that. You guys look on the channel, you can see I had some shorts where I was modifying the exhaust housing for the wastegate. So that should be all solved now. We get this valve issue solved, we should be ready to go to the dyno. We're going to use my buddy's chassis dyno and get all that stuff all ironed out. The fuel map is pretty good already, but we can do some timing work, and we can definitely do some boost work and launch RPM, or launch boost on the trans brake. So that'll be our next thing. Get this part done, go over, get the engine back assembled, and then get to the dyno and get this thing going and see how that's all going to work out. So that's kind of catches you guys up where we're at with the 4200. I know it's been kind of dragging out, but just been busy. But we're making progress. So we'll see how that all pans out. So obviously it'll be a couple weeks before we get any farther with that thing, but at least we're making some some headway on it. So the other thing that been kind of messing around here in the shop is Finn's 69 Chevelle, 69 Corvette. So there's a picture of the car in for work. Somebody rebuilt a 427. They put Edelbrock heads on it. They still left a flat tappet cam, which I wasn't too happy about, but whatever. But it did seem that they did break the cam in correctly. I've checked to make sure all the rocker arms seem like they're traveling full travel, and they seem to be. So, but he brought it in to get the sniper tuned on it. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is, if the engine doesn't run right, putting fuel injection on it isn't going to make it right. So he brought the car in and goes, man, the motor doesn't make any horsepower. It's sneezing. It's doing all this weird stuff. So we found the gas tank was rusted and the fuel pump was faulty. So we put a new tank and new fuel pump in. Actually, he had somebody else put that in. I didn't have the space to do it. But so we did put a new Holley pump, tank and pump in. And then he brought it back, and that's when I found that the technician that put the gas tank in never changed the fuel filter. So, and the fuel filter had been compromised. So I had to have the injectors cleaned, and the regulator was messed up, so we had to put an external regulator on it. But the fuel system is all correct now. And so we started going, and I redid the ignition system. In that picture here, you can see it's got an HEI. Well, with the HEI, there's no tachometer, because in these cars they're cable driven. So I got an MSD distributor with the tach drive, put that in. You can barely see over in this corner. It had an MSD box. It was not wired. So we wired in the MSD box to get a good spark. Got that all set up. Got all the timing tables all set up in that. And so I went to start tuning on it, and it's the more, idling and drive, low RPM drivability was driving pretty good, but as soon as you started getting in the throttle, it's popping back through the throttle body pretty hard. And so I chased that for a little bit, did compression. We checked the cam, make sure it didn't have a round globe on the camshaft. But ended up figuring out that it has comp cam Magnum rockers on it. And the Magnum rockers, when you get the inexpensive setup, comes with the 11/16 rocker nut, like a factory stamped steel rocker arm has from GM. But the difference is with the forged stainless Magnum rocker, it's a really thick rocker body, so you can't put a socket in there. You can't put it in while it's running at all. And even if you try to adjust the valves with the engine off, trying to find zero lash is near impossible, because every time you touch or try to adjust it with the lash with the socket, it jams the rocker arm up and you lose your feel. So I went ahead and just loosened all the rockers up till they were flopping around, and then just snugged them down, pulling the socket on and off till I felt like they were making contact. I knew it was going to make noise, but I didn't care. I just wanted to, try to diagnose what the situation was. And sure enough, once I did that, the valve train did make noise, but the popping went away. So when they assembled the engine, they had the rocker arms really tight. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Glad you made it. So now I'm going ahead and putting polylocks on there, which polylocks have a shank with a smaller hex on the top, and they have an Allen that locks them down. So let me pull this video up here. So here's the engine with the valve covers off. You can see the throttle body is really dark, so you can see it's had backfires coming back through it, and you can see how tight that that rocker nut is to the valve train. So here's a little video I filmed. It's not edited. All right, so this 69 Corvette with a 427 engine. You can see here they've got a Magnum, Comp Cams Magnum rockers, and those come with these big 11/16 nuts on there, which is causing what the problem is. So this valve cover has these oil deflectors here. Those oil deflectors are supposed to keep the oil from getting all over the place, but they eliminate the ability to put poly locks on the rocker arms. So vehicle came in for some sniper tuning, and you can see by the look at the sniper how dark it is in the throttle body. Well, it's been backfiring, and first off I thought it was plugs and stuff like that, coil wires, but ended up being the valves were adjusted too tight, and so as you put load on the car, you would just enough compression backing up through the intake valves that would actually explode in the intake and backfire through the valve body, or through the throttle body. So we're going to go ahead and throw some poly locks on here, readjust the valves, and then that should fix the situation. Just to do a test, I went ahead and loosened the rockers up. Wasn't able to adjust them, but just loosened them up to where they made noise, and the popping went away. So I know that's what the issue is, and we're going to go ahead and fix it now. Alright, so we have all the rocker arms off. I just wanted to show you. So the way these come, they've got this 11/16 nut here, but when it's down inside the rocker arm, to get the socket in there, you see it barely fits in there, so there's no way to adjust the valve and figure out the preload and that stuff, because the socket is binding up on the rocker and it doesn't give you a good thing, a good feel. So we want poly locks. That's what should be on there. And a poly lock has an Allen set screw inside of it. So it is a threaded nut with a long shoulder, so the hex is above the sides of the rocker arm, and it has a Allen plug, or Allen, and that goes down and that locks against the rocker stud, pulling it out, and that locks the rocker stud from moving. And this style nut, it's a crimped style nut, so once these have been adjusted a couple times, they're no good anyway. So we don't want to use those. We definitely want to go with the poly lock. So we're going to go ahead and put these on now and set up the valves and adjust them. So that's kind of where I left off on that project. So we needed a shallow valve cover to have clearance for the alternator and the AC compressor. So I got a shorter poly lock. The problem is the rocker studs are very long, the overall usable length, and so when you get the rocker down to, or the poly lock down to where it needs to be to adjust the lash, there's no more threads left for the jam nut. So we're gonna have to put a shorter stud on there, and possibly might go with a taller poly lock, because these did have some we have some clearance, and I think I'm going to be okay with the valve covers that I picked on it. They're kind of a cast aluminum, but simulate the chrome, factory chrome ones. So obviously a cast valve cover is going to be way better as far as sealing, because you don't have to worry about the valve cover being all bent up and everything. The steel ones, they're notorious for leaking, and then then you tighten them down more, and then they start getting out of shape, and it just becomes crazy. And he didn't have the proper spreader bars for this anyway, so the cast valve covers I think are just going to be that much better of a situation. And you can see in the video the MSD distributor that's in there now and stuff like that. So that's going to be more to come, but I believe we're going to be in pretty good shape when we get this all sorted out, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so we'll do a shorter valve stem and maybe a taller poly lock, and we'll be in pretty good shape. So that was pretty much what we got done during the week. I still have to get the cluster back in Dave's Chevelle, so we can get back on that. I just have a short little punch out list left on that thing, and then we can get the mileage on it and move it along. But we have to make 2 AC lines for it, and I have to make the shifter lever to hook up the shift interlock with the steering column. So we put a low car floor shifter in there, and with that, you need the column. The column is an automatic column, so the neutral safety and the reverse lights are on the column. There's a little lever sticking out on the end of the firewall. I'm sure you guys have seen those before. So Locar has a universal kit that you can go down to the shift the transmission to there, and then that makes it so you can use your floor shifter, but yet still adjust the column interlock, so that way it has to be in park for the key to come out of the ignition switch. It gives you a neutral safety and in park and neutral, and of course when it's in reverse you'll have reverse lights rather than trying to wire that all into the floor shift. So that's the two things that are left on that, and then we can go ahead and get our mileage on that and get that one moving along. Chuck's truck, we really didn't get a whole lot done this week on it. We dug out some of the brake lines that have to be remade, so we kept the stock ones so I can remake them in stainless. We got the flex lines on the calipers going to the rear end housing. The dry shaft didn't come in this week, but it is being shipped now. I got tracking on it yesterday, so we'll have that. We'll probably have it tomorrow. So then we'll be able to move along with that, but that's for another Saturday. The big thing right now is to get the Oleynik back together, because that entails me driving back and forth to Riviera Beach, which is about a 42-mile drive round trip, and of course working out of the shop, trying to make sure you have all the equipment you need with you and all the parts and all that. There's been a lot of half days up there, and then of course you get stuck in traffic on the way up and on the way back. South Florida is great for making a 20-mile drive into an hour-long drive. So it's been very tough to get that vehicle finished, but we're making good progress. Like I say, tomorrow I'm going to try to get up there really early in the morning, beat the traffic, and as long as the rain holds off, I'm hoping to get far enough to where we can spin the motor over and maybe light it off. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll have I'll have a video update on where we're at with that. Obviously the console I showed you guys in the beginning, that's all done, so that can be all wired in now and mounted permanently. So we are really close with that project. So it shouldn't be long now. If it's not ready to start, it should be really close to ready to start. So can't wait for that to get done, so that can move that project along. The only thing I think I have left on that, as far as fabrication, I still have to build an exhaust system for it. But again, we'll see how far I can get tomorrow. I'd like to at least get the head pipes on so that it'll be ready to fire up, and the wideband will work and all that stuff. We can get a tune in it. And then, like I said earlier, it goes to the body shop to get paint and the front cap put back on it before I actually get it back to me to do all the final things and road testing and all that stuff done. So that'll be more information to come. But I'll definitely have an update on a good update on next Tuesday, and I'll have I'm gonna probably do a couple shorts on it while I'm working on it tomorrow, and then Thursday I've got a grudge car I got to put the motor in. They sent the motor out to get freshened up, so I got to go down and uncrate it and get it put back in the Camaro. So that'll be Thursday's deal, and then hopefully Friday we'll get back on the Corvette and get that wrapped up, and should have the parts for in case the Corvette doesn't get finished. I should have a lot of parts for the 4200 cylinder head, so we can make some progress on that. So that's pretty much where everything's at. I will let you guys know next week I am going on vacation, but I am going to have a show for you. So I'm going to tape a good portion of the show, but I'm going to do it like this live. I'll come on, enter, say our hellos and all that stuff, and then put the pre-recorded deal on. But I'll be live. I can stop it and comment on the chats. So it'll still be semi close to a full live show. But we'll see how it works out. I hope it works out good. And if when I'm doing my recording, if it doesn't look like it works out, I can just do like this and just do the slideshows. So come back next Tuesday. I will have something for us for sure. For sure. But making progress. So that's next week is going to be episode 99. And then the following week I'll be back here in South Florida at the shop, and we will have episode 100. And I'm going to try to get some stuff worked on this weekend and next weekend, so that we can have a really good show for the 100th episode. I really appreciate you guys coming and spending your Tuesday nights to watch me talk and whatever the stuff I'm doing and what we're doing in the shop and whatever tech advice I can give you guys and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. We've had some really big view counts on the last couple months. They've been really getting really good. I really appreciate that. So remember, hit the like button. The like is works with the algorithm with YouTube. It helps drive the videos to new people. Try to get this podcast out to where more people know what's going on. Of course, I am going to try to really do a big thing on all the different platforms to drive people to the 100th episode. So maybe we can get some new people there. If you guys haven't subscribe. It's free. There's no junk mail or nothing, no advertisement. Nobody's getting your any information from you. It's just you'll just be able to find the channel easy. You just go and it'll be on your subscriptions, and you can ring the bell, and whenever I drop something new, it will tell you instantly that there's something new to watch. So appreciate that. Chris, yeah, the Cup Car. I did a little thing in the beginning. I had some scammers that tried to buy the car. Didn't work. I think I'm a little too smart for that, I hope. But yeah, it was fun to play the game with them and see where it led. But yeah, at the end of the day, they sent a bogus check, and obviously there's no way in heck I'm giving them the car. So I haven't done anything with the road race setup on it yet, because I just been slammed and all the racks are full here in the shop. And so hopefully next month I'll be able to get that thing all set up, and we can try to hit a Chin or HDP or one of those series up at Sebring to get some laps on the car to verify that everything is good. So that's the little update there, Chris. I showed a bunch of stuff on the beginning, so you can always watch it again in the replay. So, but anyway, I appreciate everybody coming out. Y'all have a good week. I'll see y'all next Tuesday, and You know, we'll do it all again. See ya.